Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi class, are you excited to start our discussion? I hope so. Enjoy this presentation. Okay, let me introduce my group. I'm Liedya Thauva Nasrul as a moderator and the first speaker, and my best partner, Wahyudi, as a second expert and a second speaker. We are from a first group. Before we are going to our discussion, I remind you we should know about the indicators of our discussion in this meeting. We are able to explain and write the introduction chapter of a thesis. So, now let's move the next slide. What is an expert in a thesis? Expert. An expert or experts is someone who the wide range as a trusted source of certain technique or expertise, lose talent to judge and dedicate something correctly whether the accordance with the rules and status by other our audience in certain special field. Thesis. Thesis is a discussion that accompanies an opinion or argument. The opinion or argument itself is called a thesis. Generally, the term dissertation or thesis are used to refer to scholarly or academic presentation of a discussion. A master thesis provides opportunity for students to plan, complete, interpret, and report research thesis. Project must not have been published previously and must be conducted the writer under the supervisor of a graduate faculty member, advisor member, and a graduate advisor committee. Next, purpose of the thesis document. The purpose of the thesis or scientific paper is to easily express the dominant of knowledge, comprehensively formulate hypotheses or conjecture based on the theory, and then generate answer to their hypothesis. The purpose of the thesis is a document of a student's scholarly activity in a normal structure. The length a relatively uniform approach to word complicated. There are generally can be categorized at two types. Content types is your thesis, like a qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative or creative thesis is a type of thesis in the result of work done by students in a descriptive, exploratory, analytical, or creative way. Departments that encompass the art and humanities might have graduate students going this type of thesis. And then quantitative thesis is a type of thesis typically contain data, pieces of information made or measured by scientific defense such and recorded numerically on some type of scale. Some graduate work might not clearly fit a one category because the structure and formatting for each are different. This document is organized into sections describing each. Uh, some information is the same for all theses. It's important to determine with the type thesis you are writing early in your graduate program. And after you know and understand what you categorize thesis, you choose one, and then move to the Start Master in Introduction chapter in thesis writing. It will present by my best partner Wen Wahyudi. For Mr. Wen, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Me, Wen Wahyudi, as the second speaker, will continue the discussing today. Is it about the introductory chapters? In introductory chapters, there are 3 steps, and the first one is to establish a research territory, and second to identify and niche of the gap in territory, and the last to then signal how to topic in the questions occupies that the niche. Okay, we come to the first part is to establish a research territory. For the first one is the by using that general research area is important, central, interesting, problematic, or relevant in some way. And then second one is the by providing background information about the topics. It means that the background is have the information related to the titles of our research or our thesis. And the third is by introducing and reviewing items of previous research in the area. And the last one is the by defining terms. Is it means that like the definition of a key terms of the chapter 1. And the second part is the establishing a niche by indicating a gap in the previous research, raising a questions about it, or extending previous knowledge in some way. It means that points to a gap or a niche in the previous research which the research will fills. For the metaphor or the niche of research base is based on the idea of competition in the ecology. Economic writers seeking to publish must compare for like and the space as the plan, and when describing writing conference abstracts, and then while comparing one's thesis to marketable product might initially appear to this full, we have found it useful to talk in this term to our students. And the second one is by identifying problem or needs. After this, our make the background, our introductions, we should add to identifying what is the problems. Let we discuss what the problem what we have in the introductions. And the third step is the occupying the niche by outlining purpose, aims, or stating the nature of the present research or research questions or hypotheses. In these sections, it means that like the research questions or hypothesis, like the formulations of the problems. And the second is by announcing principal findings, stating value of the research. After we know that the problems, these steps, we know we should that stating what the areas will be to research. And the third is the by indicating the structure of the thesis and providing mini synopsis of each subsequent chapter. And the fourth is the by outlining the theoretical positions. And last is by describing the methods used in the study. And then we come to the role of the introductory chapter in the thesis, creating a research space. The thesis is said to be shaped like the hourglass that is the open at the top and bottom. It means that like uh, the discussing our research is discussing like universe and down to be more specifics. And then the introductions sits the upper open and of the hourglass bowl to indicate that isn't it the introduction that the research clearly signals the relationship between the specific topic of thesis and the field of work into which the thesis is being inserted. The introduction, nonetheless, typically reviews some of the key literature in the field in order to situate the research. This is the form of the thesis hourglass. For the first one is introductions, like I explained before, and then literature review is there is in the chapter 2, and then the methodology of research or findings, it's the chapter 3 and 4, and then discussions. And I think enough for our explanation about the introductionary about the research. And thank you for watching, and let we discuss in e-learnings. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.